is Addison Pruitt, who's the founder and CEO of Push Strategies and Innovation, which is a full-service creative brand, social engagement, and media company. Addison's firms develops creative marketing and communication support for small businesses and nonprofits. This includes the design of annual reports, interactive presentations, custom web designs, logos, and marketing collateral. His company focuses on enhancing a firm's social media presence for outreach events, conferences, and workshops. Addison graduated in 2016 from the Virginia Commonwealth University with a degree in marketing and a concentration in product and brand management. This specific workshop is designed to help small businesses learn the difference between branding and marketing and how to define your brand. You will have the opportunity to learn the importance of email integration, websites, and the technology to interact and engage customers in a digital platform. As always, we have representatives from the Office of Central Services, the Executive Director of the Supplier Development and Diversity Division, Deborah Carter, and the Outreach Manager of the division, Christopher Kelly. Again, I thank you for participating in this evening. At this time, I will turn the presentation over to Sandy Pruitt. Sandy.
Glenn, again, thank you so much for the warm welcome. And again, welcome everyone to our workshop on shaping your brand for the digital experience. Just to let you know that this is a series of workshops that we've been offering. A few other workshops are coming up, and we want to make certain that you know of some of those workshops. On Thursday, July 30th, if anyone has received the Paycheck Protection Loan, we're going to talk about loan forgiveness under the Paycheck Protection Program, and the presenter will actually go through the entire application on how to respond so that you can ensure that your loan is forgiven under the Paycheck Protection Program. In August, we have a few other workshops coming up. Doing business with the county, costing out your proposals, understanding contract vehicles for businesses, and reopening your doors for a healthcare business. In terms of the two presenting organizations that'll be with you this evening, the PFC Black Chamber, which is a membership organization representing Black businesses whose mission is to strengthen the capacity of those businesses to serve their communities by providing a collective voice, fair access to capital, and leadership support. The PFC Coalition is also a membership organization representing over 300 nonprofits and minority businesses whose mission is to build the capacity of those minority businesses and nonprofits by providing assessment, support, and expansion services. So we welcome you to get to know those organizations a little better. And in terms of the agenda for today, our presenter is Mr. Addison Pruitt, and Addison is going to start now with his presentation. So we're going to do a brief switching of the screens. Again, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A. We encourage you to use the chat function to make this workshop interactive.
Good evening, everyone. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Well, thank you, Ms. Pruitt. Thank you, Glenn, Deborah, and the Office of Central Services for Prince George's County. So today we're going to be talking about shaping your brand for the digital experience. And this will be in collaboration with the PFC Black Chamber as well as the PFC Coalition. So let's get started. Glenn gave a good introduction of myself. And just to reiterate, I am a VCU graduate in Richmond. I graduated in 2016 with a degree in marketing and concentration in product and brand management. At VCU, I was a part of the pre-accelerated program, as well as I was an intern for VCU Athletics, as well as a theater marketing assistant for VCU Theater. And after college, I started my own organization called Push Strategies and Innovation, where we help small businesses and brands push their stories in the digital space. We actually started out hosting events in Richmond and then moved up to DC, where we help young professionals connect through arts and music. And on top of that, I served as Chief of Staff for Delegate Daryl Barnes, who is the chair of the Legislative Black Caucus. And my current role is a communication specialist with the architect of the Capitol. So now that I talked about myself, I want to get to know a few people in the room right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 5 participants. If you want to go ahead and state your name, your organization, and the goals for this webinar, this will be really quick. We'll go ahead and state what each organization does towards the middle of the presentation. But to start, I just want to have your name, organization, and some goals. So if I can get 5 people.
Okay, this is Sandy. If people can put it in the chat, if we can just get a few of the businesses or entities that are a part of this webinar, if you can just put the name of your business or organization and just what are some of your expectations or goals from this webinar?
Okay, I'm in the chat now, so I'll go ahead and read a few as they come through before I get to the next slide. Okay, so we have Amira with the Teeks Heart Memorial Foundation. Okay, and you're interested in learning key aspects of branding and making a memorable message or appearance. I'm just gonna choose a few more. We got Don Berkeley. Goal is to better understand trends in digital marketing. Demaya Entrepreneur College Access. Their goals are to learn about digital strategies for marketing and branding. Then we have Sheba Sean, how to brand the right way. Okay, so we're gonna cover a bulk of what you guys are putting in the chat. And if you have any questions, keep on throwing them in there. I'll periodically check those and be able to assist in providing you some answers. So just to give you an overview of what to expect in this webinar, we're going to go over what is branding, the difference between branding and marketing, what goes into your branding toolkit, communicating with your customers online, branding your website, utilizing social media, email marketing, building custom graphics, and we'll have a Q&A session as well. So to get started, I have a picture of 2 logos. One logo, both of these logos should be well known. One is Milk and Honey. They are a restaurant in the DC area, and then you have the renowned Gucci. I want you guys to say what comes to your mind when you see these logos and when you see, when you hear about Milk and Honey and Gucci. If you guys could comment in the chat, that would be good. Or if we can get somebody, Ms. Pruitt, if you want to get somebody to answer this question with their mic, that might be good as well. But if not, we can, I'll read off some answers in the chat. So if you guys just want to type what comes to your mind with Milk and Honey and what comes to your mind with Gucci.
Okay, Addison, I'm seeing a few comments in there. I saw elegant.
Okay.
I saw brunch.
Okay.
Elegant quality. Somebody wrote Starbucks. Did Starbucks or status? Status. Yeah, Starbucks. Somebody wrote Starbucks.
So status, for, I'm guessing for Gucci, status,
yeah,
Milk and Honey, warm, good for your soul.
Food and expensive. Elite, high fashion, high-end fashion, expensive.
Okay, okay, yeah, these are some good answers, and I want you guys to remember these answers are coming off the top of your head. So when you see something about Milk and Honey, when you see something about Gucci, this is your instant reaction to this, and that coincides with what I'm about to say next. So, what is a brand? You guys just conveyed what a brand is in the sense of what Gucci was and what Milk and Honey is. So, a brand is a person's gut feeling about a product or service. It's your instant reaction to seeing a logo, a picture, a product, something that conveys about that particular company. It is not just a logo, it is not just a picture, it is not just a website. It is all of that combined together to be able to have a perception or a feeling towards that particular product or service. Does anybody have any questions about that one? If not, I'll keep on moving forward. I see some more answers coming in about one person put Gucci as being racist or being expensive or quality. Okay, so let's talk about the difference between marketing and branding. And we hear these terms lumped together a lot, but what is the actual difference between the two? I personally, I think marketing and branding are two different concepts. And if you want your business to succeed, you need to understand the differences between the two and how to effectively use each to take your business to the next level. So on the screen, we have marketing. So for me, marketing is defined as a set of tools that you use to get someone to buy a product. It's to get someone to be able to interact with your business. So it's the actions that you take to get a customer. But on the flip side, branding is all about the strategic approach to defining who you are as a company. If marketing is getting customers to buy, branding is getting customers to come back.
So,
So
Addison,
it's
can
your
you
mission.
elaborate a little bit, because people get mixed up a lot with branding and marketing, and maybe what should come first. Oftentimes, what do you recommend, and why do you see the confusion so often with branding versus marketing?
Absolutely. That's a great question. Personally, I think that branding should come first. I think branding is a foundation for good marketing. Branding is your reputation. And so for example, for Milk and Honey, we shop at Milk and Honey, we get food at Milk and Honey because of their reputation of having good food. Or we shop at Gucci because we want that high end, that luxury status. So their brand speaks for itself, and it helps them with better marketing, if that makes sense. So your brand includes your mission, your values, and what makes you special and unique. It also includes your key elements like your logo, your website, and also your brand style guides. And I'm going to dive into another example as well to further define this. I'm sure you guys know what this picture is. It's a picture of a Big Mac sandwich from McDonald's. So think of branding like this. Um, if your brand was a Big Mac, right? Your branding would be the special sauce, and your marketing would be anything and everything that you do to get your customers excited about taking a bite and buying that sandwich. So the marketing would be having those commercials, social media ads, and other digital campaigns. So marketing is a great way to get a customer's attention, but branding is a good way to keep their attention. So we'll go to McDonald's to get that Big Mac because they have the special sauce versus going to Burger King for their similar sandwich. All right, let me just see if there are any questions. Okay. Okay, now, so you guys introduce yourselves on the chat, but I want to take it a step further. I want us to define ourselves define our brands. So I want you guys to grab a pen and paper or a tablet or write it on your phone or laptop, wherever you're using. I want you to answer these 4 questions. I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes, about 2 minutes, and I'll check the chat. And I want to go over some of you guys' answers to these questions. So one of the things we want to do is build our brands and distinctly define who we are. So for your brand, answer the first question is, what do you do? Who needs to know what you do? How are you able to help? And why should they care? So this is the 4-step approach that I take with working with clients, is finding the what, the who, the how, and the why. So I'm gonna check the chat. I'm gonna give you guys about 2 minutes to be able to answer this question. And basically, these are quick 1-sentence responses that'll help you be able to figure out what your mission is, what your values are, and how you're able to service your customers.
Addison, quick question. How do we get people to tell what they do very succinct and to the point, and instead of rambling on?
Yes. So one of the things that you could do is, and this is an exercise that I do, is we can frame it. So we can say, the customer we serve is, we provide X, Y, and Z. The problem that we solve is, or we solve this problem by. So that hits all 4 of the questions and it's able to answer it in 1 sentence. So for example, if you want to, Ms. Pruitt, if you want to go ahead and I'm gonna use yourself as an example. So if you want to go ahead and answer these questions 1 through 4. So you can start off by saying, we provide
technical assistance and capacity building support.
The customer we serve is
nonprofits and small minority businesses.
The problem that we solve is
the lack of assistance needed for our small minority businesses, lack of access to good technical assistance and support.
And lastly, we solve this problem by?
Well, we solve the problem by providing workshops, training, hands-on support. We do that one-on-one support to really help small minority businesses and nonprofits to expand and grow.
Okay. See, it's that simple. And I see a lot of brands that they'll have trouble with answering this question. But I think with this 4-step approach, you'll be able to quickly and concisely answer who you are, even if you're in the elevator and you're able to give that pitch. And I think that being able to map it out in a 1 sentence for each question approach, you're able to easily portray this on your website and any marketing materials that you have. Let me go ahead and check the chat. I see that the chat is going quickly.
I'm going to read the questions. Someone asked if we could read the questions one more. You want to read the questions again one more time?
Yes. Okay, so we're doing a 4-step framework of defining your brand. So the first question is, what do you do? And what do you do can be explained by saying, we provide X, Y, and Z. Number 2 could be, the customer that we serve is X, Y, and Z. Number 3, the problem that we solve is X, Y, and Z. And number 4, we solve this problem by X, Y, and Z. Does that make more sense?
Yes, and because we do have some people who are on audio only, so they're not seeing the screen. So that's why I asked that you read that over again.
Okay, and these 4 questions are your brand's value proposition. And I'll go over that a little bit more as we proceed into other slides. So the questions and the responses, let me get to those. Okay, Amira says that we raise awareness for heart conditions that occur in teens and young adults. Okay, and your audience is youth, parents, healthcare providers, doctors. And why? Because it impacts our youth, our upcoming youth, and can help save lives. The problem that we solve is the lack of information or awareness of the heart conditions that can happen in teens and young adults. Okay, so your first sentence covers all four. We raise awareness of heart conditions that occur in teens and young adults. So your target audience is teen and young adults. What you do is you raise awareness, um, and why you do it, because it impacts our youth at an alarming rate. Okay.
Okay, Addison, I see someone who does consulting and training, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Kicho Chio, and they help rapidly growing companies with, I guess, social impact. And they looks like they hire the right talent at the right time for their stage of growth. And we help our client through consulting and training. And I'm not certain if they answered. I see how they're doing it. Why should the clients care? I didn't see that response. But they stated what they do, who they do it for, how they're able to do it, but why should someone care? I didn't see that piece. Then we have another business which does accounting services. I guess that's what they do. And their audience is small businesses, and they solve problems in the areas of financial areas. And why should businesses care? Because this helps them to expand and grow their business.
Okay. Okay. Um, Ideally, we want to be able to answer these questions in 1 to 2 sentences. So mapping them out into 4 different sections should be able to help you condense that into 2 sentences. So this is always a good exercise if you're planning on rebranding your business, or if you're having trouble figuring out who your target audience is and how you're able to help them. This is always a good starting point.
Okay, that other business jumped back on, and they stated clients should care because they want to avoid bad hires.
Okay. And
And
I'm
another real
reading
estate
through.
business. Yeah, another real estate business that is on as well. Let me see. That they sell real estate and their target audience is the average homeowner or buyer. And they're able to help provide information and also help in addressing credit issues, and help people with what it takes to sell a home. And I guess people should care because they help them find resources for the home and help navigate them through the buying process.
Now, I see one that says Jermaine. I think Jermaine could expand upon theirs. We provide mentorship to youth through specific programming and fellowship. It impacts our youth that is positive and proactive. And I think this one could be tweaked a little bit further. Um, I think your how and how you're unique could be expanded upon. Um, so that, and what is the name of Jermaine's? I'm sorry if I missed it.
I think it's pronounced Jumani
Jomani.
Bradford.
Okay.
Yeah, Jumani Bradford.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and keep checking these periodically, but I'll go ahead and continue with the presentation. These are some good responses that we're seeing. I'm happy to see you guys engaged. Okay, so what exactly goes into your brand? And this is an answer that businesses oftentimes struggle to have and struggle to answer. And I think that what goes into your brand has an impact on your teams and your customers. Just like you need your customers to believe in your brand, you also need your employees and your leadership team to believe in your brand. Because at the end of the day, um, your employees and your team members are the ones who will be pushing your product um, to the audiences, and should be able to believe in what they're selling and what they're standing for. And when you build a brand that your team truly believes in, they're going to be more passionate about what they do and committed to the work. And they'll work hard, they'll push themselves, and they'll bring the best ideas to the table. And your business will thrive as a result. So what goes into your brand? I think I touched on that a little bit earlier, but I'll go ahead and explain that further. So there are 4 pillars of this. You have your mission, your vision, your values, your identity, and your products and services. And what we did was we answered a few of these questions, a few of these pillars already in that 4-step process that we just went through. So your mission, it defines what you do, how you do it, why you do it. Your values are like your tone, your voice of your brand. Your identity includes your logo, your color scheme, your website, any type of collateral. And your products and services are like your superpowers and what you offer to your target audience.
Now, Addison, a lot of businesses don't have a mission or vision. You go to their websites and none exist. What do you recommend all businesses do?
So I recommend businesses starting with that 4-step process. I think that'll help them create their mission statement and create their vision of the company. Because once you answer those 4 questions, you're defining what you do, you're defining who you're targeting, you're defining how you do it, and you're defining why you do it. And those collectively comprise of your mission statement. So answering those 4 questions should be able to get you at a starting point to developing your mission statement. And you want to make sure that that mission statement is conveyed across all platforms in terms of it has transparency in what you guys deliver. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. Okay, and here is that 4-step process that I spoke about as well, but we're adding on to this. So we're defining our value proposition, which is, once again, what you do, who you serve, how you do it, why you do it. Number 2, you're narrowing down your target customer. Number 3, you're discovering your look and feel, which is your color scheme, your logo, and your brand style guide. And number 4, you're defining your voice and your tone. Those are the 4 pillars, 4 steps in defining your brand. Does anybody have any questions about this slide? Okay, seeing none, I'll go ahead and move forward to the next. But feel free to jot these down, these steps down, along with the steps to defining your value proposition, which was in previous slides.
Addison, perhaps what we can do is prepare maybe a resource sheet or 1-pager that we can send out to the attendees who participated in this webinar on some of those, your 4-step process, and that they can take and work on. So we'll make certain we're going to send something out, a resource sheet out to everyone who participated.
Okay, not a problem. I can definitely send that out to everybody who participated. I want to narrow in on step number 2, your target customer. I see a lot of businesses that struggle with this as well. Their target customer may be someone who's 15 or 16. Maybe they're providing educational services, but they're marketing towards those that are 40 and 50 and those who are out of school. There's 2 parts to this. One, having a target audience that's 15 and 16 and marketing to those that are 40 can be good if you're targeting to parents who are looking to put those kids into those programs. But your main focus should be gearing those that are 15 and 16, finding what those needs and wants are conducting a SWOT analysis to figure out how can I be able to reach more 15 and 6 years and teenagers who are interested in educational services.
So Addison, can you elaborate on number 4? One of the questions asked if you can define, when you talk about define your voice and your tone.
Yes. For example, I'm going to use PFC Coalition. So a voice and tone of a PFC Coalition would be, the voice would be that you guys are resourceful. You guys are innovative and committed to providing services to nonprofits and small businesses. So the voice would be resourceful and impactful. Do you think that kind of defines what you guys are?
Yes.
Okay, and then the tone could be, I would say, strong, committed, and bold. That you guys are unwavering and providing those resources to those that you serve. If you want, you guys could populate the chat with some of you guys' voice and tones now that you know a little bit more about it. Say, for example, let's go back to Gucci. A voice and tone of Gucci would be luxurious, or Milk and Honey would be warm. Does that answer your question, Rhonda? Go ahead and move to the next slide.
Addison, somebody's asking in the chat, that first set of questions, the first 4 questions where you ask people to define, what do you do? Who do you serve? Why is it needed? How does that relate to the process for defining your brand? How do those two relate?
Yes. So those 4 coincide with step 1. Those 4 create your value proposition. When you answer those 4 questions of who, of what, why, of what, who, why, and how, that defines your value proposition. So for step 1. And I see someone says, how do you communicate warmth? I think you communicate warmth through the colors of your brand. I think you communicate warmth through some of the content that you put out there. Say, for example, we're going to get into this a little bit later, but if you're putting out email blasts conveying empathy and sympathy to COVID-19, and you're giving a thank you to healthcare workers or those on the front line, but at the same time, you're having a warm tone and understanding the situation of the coronavirus, but you're also indirectly marketing your product as well. So portraying warmth could be done through how you're interacting with customers, through your website, through your videos, photography, as well as your logo.
Addison, one of the questions in the Q&A is, how can you be sure that your identity and brand are properly defined?
I think everything goes back into this framework. I think you're properly defining your brand identity and your value proposition through who your target customer is. I think that is the most important step, is figuring out who you're targeting to. Because if you don't know who you're targeting to, then you're not going to be as effective as you were if you knew who your target audience is. So let me go on to the next slide. So next we're going to talk about creating your brand identity. So as I mentioned before, your brand identity is comprises of your logo, your business cards, your color scheme, the type that you use, the type of font that you use, as well as it includes any type of marketing collateral that you produce as well. And we're gonna go ahead and take a look at an example of a brand identity. So can everyone see the screen here where it says brand guidelines?
Yes.
So this is a brand guideline. So the brand guideline comprises of those that I just mentioned. It comprises of your logo, your typography, your color scheme, and it shows what instances you can use these features. So this brand guideline was actually developed by Forrest Givens. Forrest Givens is a consultant with my company, Push. So if you want to take a look at the screen here, you have your primary logo, you have your alternative logos. So you can have one alternative logo, you can have up to 4 alternative logos, but they have to coincide with your brand. They have to coincide with what you already have so that people will be able to quickly point out who that business is. I'm gonna go to page 2. So you have and these are variations. So obviously, primary logo volume 1 will go with primary logo volume 1 with color in purple. So here you have the type of font that you use in the logo. I know some folks, they'll have different fonts that they may use on one particular marketing piece, or their website may have a different type of feel. The social media may have a different type of feel. The business cards may have a whole different type of feel. So you want to make sure that everything is consistent to a T. You want to have that certain color of pink, that certain color of purple, so that everything is consistent across all platforms. And here is just some examples of textures that could be used for your brand. And as I mentioned before, these are the exact logo, the exact colors for your logo and for your brand that you should be able to quickly target, so that it could be on your website, again, your social media, and any type of content that you produce will have that color scheme that's consistent. Just because it's green doesn't mean it's your type of green that you're using for your brand. Just because it's blue doesn't mean that it's the exact blue that you picked out for your brand. Does anybody have any questions about a style guide?
Madison, the question is about colors. Do you believe colors or fonts attract or deter certain people more than others?
Yes, I do. I do believe in color psychology. Different colors portray a different type of meaning. So, for example, red. Red brings out energy, attention, color, passion. When you talk about the color, um, orange is optimism, creativity. When you think of blue, you think of tech, you think of innovative, you think of trustworthy. When you think of black, you think of power, authority, discipline. Purple, mystery, imagination, sensitivity. Pink, playful, love. Um, Green is growth, harmony, kindness. So yes, I do believe different colors portray a different meaning. So um, maybe if you have a kid-friendly brand, you'll have some color. You'll have a pop of a assortment of different colors. You'll have some blues, maybe some reds, some oranges that all work together. But if you have a tech company, your tech company may want to be blue and black, or blue, green, and black, or something like that. So yes, you use different colors for different audiences, and each portray a different meaning. And there are some resources to help you pick out your color scheme online as well. How can everyone see this
The
video?
word brand.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Is the audio okay as well?
Hit the audio again, please.
The word brand is used pretty loosely these days. Many people use the word brand to talk about logos, but logos are just one part of a brand. A brand is an emotional and even philosophical concept, while brand identity is the visual component that represents those larger ideas. And brand identity design is the actual process of creating those visual assets. So now that we've got definitions out of the way, here are the 7 steps to creating your brand identity design. First, establish clear purpose and positioning. Your brand purpose is the overarching reason for your existence. Ariel Jackson, a Google veteran, recommended using this diagram as a guide for determining your purpose. The intersection of these two is where your brand's big purpose comes to life. As for positioning, positioning states who your product is for and why it's better than competitors. Traditional positioning statements follow this fill-in-the-blank format, which you'll be able to do once you've done step number 2, which is to conduct thorough market research. Conduct phone interviews or online surveys. You can also purchase market research that's already been done for you. Good market research can help you determine who your main customer personas are, and knowing their traits is going to help you know what kind of personality your brand should have in order to appeal to that persona.
So this video gave a steps of choosing your brand identity and choosing those colors to be able to fit your brand identity based on what you gathered from that 4-step process of your value proposition. So what I recommend in terms of choosing color, I recommend a 4-step process. Well, not, I'm sorry. I recommend the 3-step process. It's a 60-30-10 rule. So 60% should be your dominant color, 30% your secondary color, and 10% should be your accent color. So it's a 60-30-10 rule. So we actually went over a brand style guide, and just to explain a little bit further, so your brand style guide is your rule book containing the specifications on everything that plays a role in the look and the feel of your brand. Everything from the typography, from the color to your logos and imagery. It lets everyone know how to present your brand to the world. It guides the design for all of your content, from social media to presentations to office spaces and business cards. So, say for example, if you're you wanted to design your office space, you want to be able to have the right color of your logo or a secondary color, accent color of your logo, maybe on your walls. Maybe you want to choose some flowers at the front that pop with your color scheme. Maybe you want to have your logo printed out on the wall when you come into your office, or maybe you're giving someone your logo to put in a conference a booklet, and you want them to be able to use the correct logo in different circumstances. Let me go to the chat here. Okay, I see someone says, how do you test different logos and designs? Should you try 2 logos at one time, or should you pick a logo, try it for a year? How do you know if the logo you pick delivers the right message you try to convey? Great question. I actually recommend only choosing one logo, but a variation of that logo can be chosen as an alternative logo, as we saw in the example of the brand style guide. Do I recommend trying it for a year? No. If you're going to choose a logo, this has to be something that's going to be long term. And I would use crowdsourcing. What I would do is go to a Facebook group or ask a couple friends, or conduct a survey of 3 or 4 different designs and say, hey, which design do you like the best? Which one do you prefer the best? Because at the end of the day, those are the ones who will be seeing your design and interacting with your logo, interacting with your brand. So you want to be able to have a feel of the logo that portrays your business. So I do recommend conducting a survey with 3 or 4 variations of your logo before you choose one logo for your brand.
Addison, do you want to share the project that you're working on now with the 10 small businesses and the logo designs and how you came up with which one to select?
Yes. So right now, I'm actually working with the PFC Coalition, the PFC Black Chamber, on a project where we're providing branding services for 10 small businesses, and we're utilizing the framework that I discussed earlier. So we're developing redeveloping their mission statement, their value proposition. We're reworking their logos, their color scheme, and right now we just went through a process where we hopped on a Zoom call, and all participants were on the Zoom call, and we did a review. We did an on-demand review of each logos, and so they got to receive peer feedback of the logo designs for their business in real time, which allowed them to be able to choose one which best portrays their business. And I think that having other people look at your designs before you make it official is a very effective way in choosing the logo for your brand.
And also, Addison, we might want to add, we did a brand discovery call with each of the businesses prior, and some key questions were asked of those businesses before the designers started to develop their logos. So they got different variations of the logos and were asked to select one logo. From that logo, then a brand style guide was developed by the designer.
Yes, that's correct. So our process is first called brand discovery. So brand discovery assesses where you are as a brand and what you want to be, and it answers the who, the what, the why, and the how. It also assesses what you prefer for your brand identity. It addresses that 4-step framework, which I have. Let me go back to that slide, actually. It addresses what do you do, who needs to know, and how are you able to help, which is your value proposition. And it also addresses the 4-step framework of defining your value proposition, narrowing down your target customer, discovering the look and feel, and the voice and tone. So right now, currently, we're actually in the, we finished the discovery, we're on the brand identity. Now we're on to designing the websites for the businesses, and we're also going to be doing deliverables in terms of we're creating a 30-second commercial advertisement for the businesses, and we're developing a 1-page sheet of their capabilities and 1-page promotional flyer as well. So there's actually an online tool called Frontify, which can help you develop your style guide online. I recommend checking this out and also consulting with a professional as well. Frontify can give you an idea of what you want, and it organizes it all onto one platform. So let's take a look at Frontify.
Discover Frontify, a dynamic brand management platform that's the living core for brands of all sizes and types, where brand guidelines, libraries, and projects seamlessly integrated with the tools you use every day are centralized in a secure cloud. It's a place for interdisciplinary users to easily connect, share feedback, produce consistent materials, and ultimately activate their brands across all touch points for the online or physical world. Brand managers, marketers, designers, actually everyone comes together to shape amazing brand experiences. A digital brand home is the key to making sense of your assets. From fully fledged libraries for videos and images, to special spaces for UI patterns, icons, logos, documents, and more. All the elements for customizable, shareable guidelines in your single source of truth. Build powerful brand experiences with Frontify.
Okay, so that was Frontify. So as you can see, Frontify is an all-in-one platform that allows you to centralize your brand's style guide. So that's definitely something I recommend. So I'll, like I said before, I'll provide the list of all the tools and resources that are mentioned in this presentation to help you better equip your brand. And we'll talk a little bit more about how your brand is able to adapt in the digital space. And I'm going to get to that in a little bit.
Addison, another question came up. Define value proposition again, just briefly, if you can just explain that again.
Your value proposition is what you do, it's who you serve, it's how do you serve them, and it's why should they care.
And we'll be sharing that in a resource sheet. Addison will put together a one-pager of some of the resources and links that he provided in the presentation and some of the processes. And so we'll be sending that out to all of the attendees on the webinar this evening.
Okay, so now, so we talked about our logo, we talked about our color scheme. Now let's put it all together. For an example, PFC Black Chamber. As you can see, they have this Americanist feel with the blue and the red, and you see I extracted the specific colors of blue and red that they use and placed it into their mission, their vision, and just a blurb about their location. This was actually, I actually designed a one-page a flyer for their launch that they had back in 2019. I created a banner as well as the flyers, which convey the brand identity in terms of I had the correct colors of the logo and the information that defines their value proposition. So it's always good to establish brand fluidity. So once you develop your brand style guide and your brand identity, you're able to utilize this on all of your marketing materials. So you'll know, hey, is this the right color of blue I'm using? Is this the right color of red? Am I using the right font in this instance? Is this the right boldness or thickness of that font? And I always suggest consulting a professional and helping you develop this style guide if this is not something that you're already comfortable with. But the style guide is important too when other people want to use your logos in events that they have, or if they're marketing your brand, or if you're advertising, say, on a billboard. You want to make sure that they're using the correct version of your logo, or use a logo that's optimized to fit that billboard. So let's talk a little bit about brand activation. What we also are doing with the Small Business Reserve program is, like I said before, is providing them a video, a commercial video of who their business is. This is just an example of a recap video of that PFC Black Chamber launch party that was held in 2019. One of the things that I suggest is for folks to get their events professionally videographed. And that doesn't mean getting it on an iPhone or getting it on a iPad. Um, I want to make sure that your brand is professional and it's done through a professional camera, and it's edited by a professional as well, so that conveys a message of who your brand is, and it sets the tone that you guys are warm and you guys are professional. So let's take a look at this example of a brand video. Give me 1 second as it loads. Let me try to refresh this for the essence of time. So I see it's having trouble loading right now. So let me come back to it. So this is my number one rule of thumb. My number one rule of thumb is that branding should be consistent across all platforms. And that means that if you're in your office suite, it should be the same logo that's in your office is the one that's on your logos, on your website, and on your social media. So this is the number one rule of thumb: consistency, consistency, consistency. The mission, the values, and identity should all mesh together to portray a clear message of what you offer. So someone is able to quickly assess who you are and quickly assert your business, your services to your business. So for example, if you go into a Starbucks, you'll see a Starbucks has that same color scheme that's on all of their marketing materials, that's on their website, that's on their social media. So you wanted to make sure that everything is consistent. Okay, so this workshop was talking about utilizing your brand to help you adapt to the digital experience. Now, what in the world is the digital experience? Let me back up here. So I always say this, and one of my favorite TV shows was called Power, and the main character was called Ghost. And there was an instance where he was at the club that he had owned, and there was one of his business partners had said, "Hey, your brand needs a face, not a ghost." And I think that is a clear um, moniker or a clear wording of what the digital experience is. So let me just back up. So uh, because of instant technology, uh, humanized brands are being revealed more so nowadays. So customers are looking to associate themselves with brands as they do with their friends. Um, they want to be able to associate their tastes, their goals, and their purposes with a brand. And if it doesn't align with those, then they won't shop or they won't support that particular brand. So being able to connect with your customers or your potential customers at a personal level is very prevalent today. And this brand affinity is more powerful than brand loyalty that we have come to love and know. It goes far beyond the customer's simple recognition that your brand offers the best value. They want to have the best relationship, and you want to be able to empathize with your audience. So, what is the digital experience? Let's make this interactive. So, let's hop in the chat. If folks want to give their what they think digital experience is, that would be good. And I'll take a look at some of the responses before I go to the next slide. Okay, someone put active, responsive, interactive, social media, transparent. Okay, those are some facets of it. Good response. E-commerce, selling in a way that leaves the customer wanting more. Okay, it's every digital touch point. Pictures worth 1,000 words. How you interact, how you react to your businesses online, to your how you interact with your customers online. Okay, I think that you guys, all of these answers portray of what uh, the digital experience. Okay, one at the end, connection with the brand through the internet, and I think that you guys got it. The brand experience, the digital brand experience is the online interaction between a company and its customers. And as our world becomes more and more digital, digital customer experience has become an important part of any business so that you're able to leverage that experience on a variety of different platforms. And you want to be able to meet your customers across different channels and ways that resonate with them. Um, and the key thing is consistency, speed, and safety. So um, I'm actually going to give you an example of a digital experience with a company that I'm going to skip ahead here with a company that you guys may know. It's a prominent pizza chain uh, in the DC metro region. I think they branched out to about what New York. I'm not sure what other cities. And Pizza recently had a sale, and I personally thought it was too good to be true. They had a sale where they were giving away a free pizza pie. But the catch was you had to sign up on their platform. You had to download the app and sign up on their platform. And once you sign up, you're able to access that free pizza. When I first tried to access it, when I first tried to check out, they wouldn't let me do it because I wasn't a member. So I signed up to become a member. Uh, I placed my order. Couple seconds later, I received a text message, which is on the left-hand screen, saying that they were already that they were making my order, and then they directed me to follow them on Instagram, which is another touch point to see what they're doing in the community and see what they're doing socially. Uh, and then, which was even better, they sent me another text message saying that my pizza was ready. And on top of that, I'm subscribed to the email distribution, so I receive periodic updates of upcoming discounts. And currently, they're doing a loyalty program where you can earn points for as many pizzas that you purchase. And I also received an email uh, outlining the receipt of my purchase, just in case anything was wrong with the order, how much was spent, and they also have a link to their social at the bottom. So this, folks, is the current age of the digital experience. Being able to connect with customers on a variety of platforms um, and have that all-in-one inclusive experience, and you're conveying the same message. So the message that And Pizza is conveying that, hey, like we're providing your pizza quickly, and we're giving you points, or we're giving you a free pizza at the same time. And I think that uh, this step process of signing up, ordering, and retention is what each of us on this call today should focus on. So they're utilizing text, email, and social media to convey their message.
Now, Addison, a lot of small businesses may not have the larger budgets for marketing to incorporate some of this digital marketing strategy that some of the larger businesses do. Are there some smaller, simpler things, or in terms of I don't know if you're going to touch on probably later, marketing budget that people should allot to integrate some of this digital experience to capture the customers? You talked about retention. as well?
Yes. Everyone should have a marketing budget. And that marketing budget should not be $30 to have a logo design. It should not be $100. This could be anywhere. If you're a small business, I recommend, because you have to pay for your website, which is a cost. Maybe you have the Adobe Suite, which is also a cost. Maybe you have Canva, which is a little bit cheaper than Adobe Suite, and it has some templates for you. And also email blasts as well. There's a particular platform that I'm going to touch on. It's called Podium. So Podium allows you to interact with everything all in one. So it allows you to send text messages, send emails, and interact with your customers onto one platform. And I'm actually going to jump to that. So I suggest allowing a minimum of $100 per month for marketing. And that would include sending out emails, hosting your website, as well as either you're paying someone, which is going to cost a little bit more than $100 per month, paying someone to design your stuff, or if you have an in-house team that does it, at least $100 for a really small business, at least $100 a month, if not a lot more, on your digital marketing. And here is Podium, and I have a short video that's going to explain a little bit more about the touchless customer experience that Podium offers. In 1 second while I pull that up. So here is Podium.
It all started with a tire shop that was struggling to compete online. One of the biggest problems was collecting the reviews needed to show up where it mattered. Customers were willing to leave reviews, they just needed a more convenient way to do it. So we made it as easy as sending a text. It worked better than anyone had anticipated. This was our light bulb moment, and it unlocked so many more things that we could do for local businesses. Scheduling a dental cleaning? Just send a text. Curious if a dealership has the car you're looking for? Just send a text. Whether a customer connects from Facebook, Google, or text, with Podium Messenger, every interaction comes into a single inbox. Customers now had a convenient way to connect from almost anywhere online except for a business's website, which led to web chat, a new kind of chat tool for websites that help businesses capture more leads. It's a simple, easy to install button that starts the conversation online and then immediately takes it to text so it can continue without being tied down to a computer. Through texting, businesses are able to get unprecedented response rates. So naturally, they started using Podium to gather real-time insights from customers. We built Podium Feedback to streamline and analyze that information so businesses can quickly and confidently take action to improve. Not only do these products deliver a dramatically more convenient experience, they also deliver more customers, more revenue, and more growth. From the first tire shop to now over 25,000 businesses, we've seen again and again that convenience wins.
Okay, so that is an example of Podium. Now, Podium is going to be a little bit more pricey for the small business, but I definitely think it's worth the investment for mid-sized or large businesses, which we may have on the line as well. I do not know the exact pricing of it. I would assume it'll be at least $150 to $200 maybe per month, since it's an all-inclusive platform. I'm not sure. I can try to get that information for that resource sheet that we have coming out after this call. So Podium also allows you to organically get reviews for your business. So you can send a text message out and say, hey, I hope you enjoyed your pizza this afternoon. Take a moment to like our business on Facebook or provide a review. And then, hey, if they do that, if they hit the link with that review, you can do it so that, hey, I'm going to give them 10% off of their next order because they did this review, or give them an incentive, or something like that would be able to help retain more customers. Does anybody have any questions? I'm going to track back a little bit. So I'm going to open up the floor. Uh, what are you finding are your greatest needs for your customers? And you guys could populate your answers in the chat with some of your greatest needs, and I'll read them off.
And again, this is Sandy again. Everyone, the links to some of these websites and the resources will all be sent to the attendees in a one-page resource sheet. After the webinar, we're going to compile that, and we'll have that to everybody who is on the webinar.
And also, to piggyback on this question, then what are some of your challenges from your target audience? I'm going to keep the chat open for a couple more, maybe a minute or so. Let people populate their answers. Okay, let me head to the chat. Someone asks, how do you get customers to sign up for these type of campaigns? I think that you have to go where they are, through email marketing, as well as through texting. We're on our phones 22 to 23 hours out of the day. So we want to go to where our customer is, and that's mobilely. So sending them emails and sending them, but not bugging them with texts. Let's go back to how And Pizza did it. And Pizza, they sent me a series of just 2 text messages when I ordered. I haven't received a text message from them yet. Another text message from them again, but I have received periodically emails from them, letting them know about what they're doing in the community, and for receiving points for future pizza offers.
Addison, how was the pizza?
The pizza is amazing. It's in my opinion, is one of the best pizza spots in the area. But a good rule of thumb is you want your customers to be your salespeople. And when your customers are your salespeople, they're marketing your product. See, I'm marketing And Pizza to everyone on this call, and I'm not getting paid to market And Pizza. But you want that organic marketing for your product from folks that experience your product. And connecting with folks on a variety of different platforms allows you to do so. It's not just you go in the store, you purchase a product, and that's it. You want to be able to connect with them after they leave the store, and while they're waiting for their food as well. So let's go to some of the responses for the needs of customers. So contact information and resources from Sean Bailey. Don Berkeley, convenience and accessibility. So Don, convenience and accessibility to what exactly? So, and then I'm gonna jump down. Jarvis says, most of my clients thrive on consistency and competitive pricing. And Jarvis, what's your company? I'm waiting for some responses from Don and Jarvis.
That's
And what?
Jarvis, maybe a catering business, if that's the same Jarvis.
Okay. So their need would be competitive pricing. So you're offering a price that's lower than your competitors, or you're offering something that's higher than competitors, but at the end of the day, they're willing to pay for that price because they know that your brand experience is better than theirs. See, in terms of pricing our businesses, we don't always have to be less than our competitors if we show that we're valuable, more valuable than what they have to offer. We can offer a higher price. Like you're willing to shop at Gucci, even though it's 10 times as expensive than Zara, because you know that you're getting a better quality of product.
Okay,
So
Jarvis has O'Neill's catering service.
okay. So Jarvis, I go with you a little bit more. What type of catering do you offer? Ms. Pruitt, do you see any more that I should highlight?
Well, people were talked about using coupons, making certain that the information is you're consistent. Also offering multiple payment options, making certain that you stay engaged and connected with your customers or your clients, provide resources, being convenient. Most customers want convenience and they want consistency. And of course, great pricing. They want you to deliver value. And someone asked earlier, how do they, I guess, in getting how do you get customers to sign up for your campaigns? And what's considered a good number when you're trying to attract new customers and you launch your specific campaign? What would be success for that campaign?
I think it depends on the strategy that you put in place um, for that particular campaign. Each campaign is different. Um, if you're doing a campaign for folks you're trying to recruit more people to join your Zoom call, um, it will probably depend on what type of Zoom call you're offering, or it'll depend on what time of day you're offering that Zoom call, or depend on what type of content you're providing in that Zoom call, or who's presenting in that Zoom call. So there's a variety of factors that would help you strategize or what a target number would be for your campaign, or how many customers you want to participate. So I would say it's case by case basis, but you have to, with anything, I would say develop a strategy and assess the situation before you jump and do a campaign. So for And Pizza, I'm going back to that example. What they did was they offered a free product. They offered a free pizza for me to sign up and receive their emails and sign up for their app. So that's how they did it. They offered an incentive, which I think Don Berkeley said in the chat. So Monique asks, what is the most seamless way to have a website, host, email campaign, and payment processing on a website? Is everything, I'm guessing she says everything, a piece of the meal? Um, there are a couple websites that will allow you to do it all in one place. I know a lot of us know about Wix. A lot of us know about Weebly, Squarespace. Those are our web services platforms. Email, you got when MailChimp is a big one. Constant Contact is another big one. Um, and the good thing about those website hosting platforms, they allow you to process payments on their website as well. I have a list of some as well that I can read. Give me 1 second. Um, there's another site as well that allows you to do scheduling, allows you to send links, allows you to text links, as well as email links for scheduling. That's called Calendly. Um, and also Podium is one of those all-in-one platforms that I mentioned before, which allows you to send texts, send emails, and get reviews. So like Jamani just said in the chat, centralizing all the communication is important. Hope that kind of answered the question. Okay, let's see. So right now, internet usage, because of the coronavirus, internet usage is up 30 to 40%, if not more. So this virus is practically forcing us to shift our entire business virtually. So all of us is having to adapt to this change. And if we weren't ready before, now is the time to get ready. Now is the time to have fluidity with our communication for our brand. And so we're seeing that technology has shifted from that nice to have experience, that it's a luxury to have technology, to you have to have technology to be able to thrive in this space now. Because if you're not having technology, you're not active on social, active through email, active through online webinars, or active through sending out notifications to your customers, you can believe it that your competitor is working to do so.
Okay, Addison, someone asked, what is the most seamless way to have a website host, email campaign, and payment processing all on your website?
Yes. I think I touched on that a couple of minutes ago. I would say Wix is one website. There's a new site called Webflow. Webflow gives a little bit more better design templates, and it gives you a little bit more flexibility with the code as well. I don't know if some of you guys are familiar with the design process. If you're not, I highly recommend you pay someone who is, or consult with someone who is adept in designing websites and building designs, because I've seen a lot of folks who will try to do it themselves, or get someone to do it who is maybe not the most skilled, and then the product of their website doesn't turn as well. Then it doesn't turn as well as someone who may cost a little bit more be able to achieve with their work. So I highly recommend consulting a designer when building your website and hosting, as well as sending out email blasts.
Someone asked in the chat, for small businesses, do we know of any type of grants that can help improve our digital transformation? And I'm going to answer that. We recently, the PFC Coalition recently received a grant, and we are working on another grant to take businesses through what we're calling it our Small Business Rescue Program, where we create a digital strategy for those businesses and to take them through they get a mini branding package through the program. They get a brand identity, and through the mini branding package, they're getting a logo design, they're getting a capability statement design, they're getting a website design, they're getting a business card design, and also a promotional flyer, and a video design. And the businesses that participate in this program are getting that all done through the grant. And so we are going after additional funding to take another cohort. Currently, we have 10 businesses, small businesses in the program, and we're helping them to rebrand as they reopen their businesses in the midst of COVID-19. So again, I would ask that you please be in touch with the PFC Coalition and or the PFC Black Chamber as we are identifying other businesses to participate in our next cohort. Also, another question that someone's asking, Addison, is how much should a web designer cost? And then somebody's asking about how to sign up for our package. So can you address costs for designing a website?
Yes, a website can cost anywhere from $500 to upwards of $5,000 or $10,000, depending on how many links that you have in your site or how many pages that you have on your site, how much information is stored on your site. Are you offering payments? Are you offering scheduling? Are you offering ordering? There are different packages that you can get for a website, and different designers charge different rates depending on the experience that they have. So I would say anywhere from $500 to, let's say, $8,000 for a website, and they can go a little bit more than that. So if you want just a basic website with just your homepage, about information on your team, links to your social media, maybe the services that you offer, I would say that could range from anywhere from about $500 to $800 for that particular site. Does that answer the question? If you want more flexibility in it, if you want the design to be a little bit more interactive or innovative, it costs well over $1,000 for some bells and whistles, such as you want some animation on your website, and those types of bells and whistles. So I would definitely budget for a real small business just starting out $500 to $900 for a website.
Okay, and also people are asking about signing up for our mini branding package. Is it open to just Prince George's? It depends on the funder. Sometimes the funder will say only Prince George's County businesses, or it may be the entire DC metro area, DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So it would depend on our funding source and what the funder is asking in terms of who is our target audience for the grant that helps our small businesses. Because we are seeing that a lot of our businesses need the branding and marketing support and help, we are going to be pushing for more funding to help additional businesses with this type of help. So we encourage everybody to please stay in touch with the PFC Coalition, PFC Black Chamber, as we recruit for our next cohort for the program.
Okay, so next we're going to talk about social media. And I'm pretty sure that most of us on this call right now at least have a Facebook or an Instagram or Twitter, probably not so much Snapchat, and probably LinkedIn, depending on what type of industry that you're in. So I'm going to open up the chat again. How active are you on social media? How many times are you posting? And the next question would be, should you be active on many social media sites is a question that I get a lot. I think it all depends on the industry that you're in. So I personally recommend being a part of, if you're just starting out, grabbing your social media handles. So for example, at PFC Coalition, it should be at PFC Coalition on Facebook, at PFC Coalition on Twitter, at PFC Coalition on Instagram. So that making sure that those links are the same. And if someone already has that link, creating a similar link so that it's the same across all of the platforms. So that's the first step. Just getting your links. You don't have to set up your account yet, but grabbing your links. Next, I would recommend being active on 1 to 2. So if you have a catering company, I think it was, I forget the name of the gentleman with the catering company that's in here now. I would recommend
O'Neill's Catering Service.
So O'Neill's Catering Service. O'Neill should be active on Facebook and Instagram because that's Twitter. I would say Twitter as well, but the main one should be Facebook and Instagram because if the food is good, it's going to spread. It's going to spread itself. I recommend joining a lot of the groups. There are groups called DMV business groups that are prevalent around in the area. I also recommend, this is not listed in this presentation, but having folks write stories about your business. So having media contacts who are with, say, Washington Post, Huffington Post, or with your local news publications, write stories about your business. And one way to achieve this would be to send them, shoot them a quick message saying, hey, we are a new catering company in the area. Here's a link to our website. I'll be happy to send you a sample of some of our food. I'm happy to give you a discount on some of our food. Establish that first introduction with them on Instagram or on Facebook. You mentioned in some of those writers for the publications, so that you can start to get your name out there. Also, one thing that I would suggest is utilizing your friend group to your advantage. Having your close family and friends repost your food, say for example, or for O'Neill's, repost some of your food, tag you guys on Instagram, tag you guys on Facebook. And another thing that I suggest is utilizing influencers. Now, some people get it wrong when they're utilizing influencers. What I mean with influencers is getting someone who is popular in your field. So, for example, there are a variety of pages on Instagram that focus on going out and eating food or exploring different types of tastes in different cities. So being able to market to one of those pages and have them as an influencer for your posts is critical. So influencer marketing is basically hiring. You might have to pay them, or you'll give them free food, or however you incentivize it. But allowing them to market your business to their audiences, which then in return can become your audience as well. So in recap, for O'Neill's Catering, I would suggest to be active on Instagram and Facebook. And because your name is O'Neill's Catering, I want to see your face cooking the food, or you behind the scenes serving the food, or you interacting with your customers on your social medias as well. Because like I said before, people want that personal interaction. People want to be able to empathize with the brand as if they were a person. And also, the next step would be to research your target audience. Find out if your audience is more so on Facebook and more so on Twitter or more so on Instagram. Figure out what time of day they're on these sites. And the best way to do it is try it on yourselves. For example, what companies do you like to follow in your own social media sites? What companies do you like to follow on Instagram or on Facebook? I think that you showcasing what you like to see in their business will help you develop your strategy for social media for your own business. And I'm going to go ahead and, for the essence of time, I'm going to move through a couple of these slides, and I'm going to show that Black Chamber video at the end of the presentation as well. So social media, if you're just starting out, or if you're not fully acclimated with social media right now, focus on 1 to 2. Hire somebody who can do it as well, if you can. If not, well, if so, be as personal as you can with some of your posts. Personal as in showcasing you as an owner of the business, being able to be comfortable showcasing yourself as the head, or your some of your employees or team members that you have with your business. And I'm going to go ahead and go over some of the top 5 mistakes that folks have when they're utilizing social media, and specifically Instagram. So a lot of people want to get ahead of the curve, and they start to buy followers. Personally, I do not recommend that. It may look good because they'll go on your social media and they'll say, hey, you have 10,000 followers, and you're following only 100 people. But they look at your posts and your engagement rate is trash. You may be only getting 100 likes or 2 or 3 comments, which is a clear indicator that you're buying followers. So you want your following rate to be as organic as possible. And some businesses, what they'll do is they'll follow some users, and then they'll just quickly unfollow them just to improve their follower to follow-in ratio. I completely disagree with that approach to it, because you're just conveying a negative connotation with your business. If you're following them 1 second and then the next day you just click unfollow, I guess it just shows some untrustworthiness in your business. Number 3, not using the proper hashtags and proper caption for your posts. Number 4, for Instagram and Facebook, not utilizing stories. I find that a lot more people are utilizing stories than scrolling on their feed. So stories are mainly used for whether you're promoting an event, you want to target them to your website, or you just want to post something that you already post to your main feed. You can post to your story as well, so they can see it twice. And number 5 would be not sticking to your niche, not sticking to who you are as a brand, and as we discussed earlier, not sticking to your brand's capability. So those 5 tips are not listed on this slide right now, this presentation, but those are some tips that I thought that you guys should be aware of, and I can put those on that report, that sheet that I sent to you guys.
So everybody will get that on the resource sheet? Yes,
I can do that. So layout on social media. To your right, that's an example of my page, Push the City. We have 460 followers, 145 are following us. Our bio includes who we are. So this is our social site. We're powering social connectivity through experiences, brand, and digital media. And I'm going to show you a link to a page where it's called Linktree. Linktree allows you to link several sites on one page, so that if they click this link, they can get to your website, they can get to an event that you're about to host, they can get to another social media page, or they can get to an article about yourself as well. So let me go to Linktree. 1 second here. If everyone can see my screen, this is Linktree. So Linktree, they give you the capability to link several pages. For the essence of time, I'm not going to show that video, but I will provide this in in that sheet as well. And this is very helpful to have if you're trying to market several events, if you're trying to market your website, or if you're trying to market an article about your business. This is a great tool to use. So, Ms. Pruitt, you have the, for the essence of time, I do have a few more slides talking about email automation, sending out the right email, and building a website. But for the essence of time, I'm going to wrap this up pretty quickly. So, and I think I probably touched on a lot of it earlier. I think emails are one of the most effective ways to market to your audience, but you don't want to fall into the trap of sending an email that goes to spam, or you're sending emails with too much content on them, or you're sending an email to folks who could care less about what you're talking about. So emails should be quick, concise, and they should have a call to action that'll allow you to click on something else so that you can register for something, see your product, see something that's coming in the future, or see an article about your business. The email should be able to target to your ideal customer, and through MailChimp and through Constant Contact, you can send targeted emails out to different customer segments. And in those customer segments, let's go back to Anil's Catering. And Anil's Catering may send a custom email to small businesses who he knows that they're looking to host events coming soon, or he can send a targeted email to sponsors, or he can send a targeted email to venues that he's looking to host his event or partner with. So those could be used on Constant Contact and MailChimp. Your website, didn't get a lot of a chance to talk about your website, but your website should have the same look and feel from your brand style guide that we talked about earlier. And here's just a few designs that I developed. One on the left-hand side was for the annual weekend for the Legislative Black Caucus in Maryland. This includes it optimized on different platforms, say, for example, your mobile device, as well as a tablet. To the right, it's for a sweet potato pie company, and that I designed a website for. And as you can see, in the background is the color scheme is that purple. The logo is at the top, and that same feel is throughout the whole site. And creating graphics. As I mentioned before, there are several sites for you to create graphics for your business. Always consult a professional for your work. So some tools, Canva, which I designed this presentation on, is good. Adobe Spark, Post on My Wall. These are some tools that you can do, create quick designs. And then there's the Adobe Creative Cloud, which is more for your advanced designers. They have your Photoshop, your Illustrator, your Adobe Premiere to create videos. I'll send all of these links to these in that sheet as well. But when you're creating the graphics, don't get so tied up on utilizing templates. You want to make them as unique as possible. I found that some people just take a template, change the wording, and go. I don't think that necessarily allows you to be unique. At the end of the day, as a brand, you want to be able to stand out in a heavily saturated market. So creating designs that are different, that are creative, that are unique will help you do so. and will help you as you are shaping your digital experience. And now I'm going to go to the questions box, and then we're going to wrap up and show the video. I see that the sound may not be on for this particular.
I think it's important that we collectively work together, support each other's initiatives, but also ensure that we have access to some of the contracts and opportunities in Prince George's County.
We intend to forge more partnerships because Prince George's County, of course, we all know is a robust economic engine, and we're passionate about engaging our minority business community with meaningful opportunities, and this is why we're having all these significant outreaches.
We're right now the fourth richest county in the country. We have created more jobs in the last 4 years than anybody else in the state. This is the jewel of America. County executive clearly is open for business in this county, and you are going to be recipients of that.
Among the many things I love about Prince George's County is this is the center of Black excellence. And so if we're going to get it right here, if we're going to get building generational wealth in the Black community right anywhere, it's going to be in Prince George's County. Thank you so much to PFC.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you to both Jerry and Sandy because truly they get it. In order for us to have the economic imperative, the economic agenda that we need to have local Black chambers. So I'm extremely proud of what they're doing, not just this week, but over the last 3 years, I have seen them being consistent in reference to making sure that Black voices were heard.
One of the big things we're trying to do at the U.S. Black Chamber of Commerce is make sure that we have our business national.
Yeah.
They go to Ron Busby every day saying, I need businesses that are ready to do business national. So we got to grow Black businesses to scale. So at the end of the day, we look at things not only as a civil rights issue, but an economic right issue.
So that was an example of a brand video, and again, that was prepared for the PFC Black Chamber launch in 2019. So that is an example of how you can utilize a brand video and prepare this for Instagram, Facebook, texting, as well as through email blasts. So in this workshop, we talked about ways to utilize our brand, developing our brand identity, developing our value proposition to be able to shape a digital experience. I wish I had more time with you guys so that we can dive in this a little bit deeper. But for the rest of the time, I think it's almost 8:30. So if you have any more questions, I'll keep looking at that questions box, and feel free to reach out to me directly if you have any questions as well. That will be provided in that one-page sheet. So again, thank you to the Prince George's Department of Central Services, People for Change Coalition, and the PFC Black Chamber. Thanks, Deborah and Dennis.
Well, at this time, good evening. This is Deborah Carter. On behalf of our team, Chris Kelly, the outreach manager, of course, Glenn Moorhead, and Jonathan Butler, we certainly want to extend our thanks to you, Addison, as well as to People for Change with Sandy and Jerry, And we want to thank all the participants. And I wanted to mention that we have surveys that will be coming out to each of you for this particular webinar, as we have also will continue to send out the surveys for the following webinars as well. Please note that our next webinar happens to be this coming Thursday, and it's called What Are the New, it's basically on what are the new rules for loan forgiveness under the PPP. So please, it's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you're able to join us, we would welcome that. And of course, you would have to RSVP again. And we want to thank you. There was a lot of good takeaways from this particular webinar. Certainly Addison with defining the value proposition to the brand purpose and brand identity, as well as Frontify. I learned also something new about what is the podium, and also sending out the right emails, and also doing business with creating graphics. So you had a lot of great information, as all of the topics have been very fundamentally valuable with good content. So we look forward to receiving your responses on the surveys that will be sent out by Mr. Kelly. And we thank you again, Mr. Addison Pruitt, and for joining us, as well as our other featured guests. Thank you, everyone, and have a great evening.
Thank you, Deborah.